Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, a place where I interview tech leaders, CEOs, entrepreneurs, futurists, technologists, thought leaders, and even the occasional celebrity about how they are leveraging technology to transform their business. And it is that time of the year where everyone's starting to get excited about the tech trends of the future and what 2023 will bring to everyone, especially after a few challenging years. So today, I want to explore the world of electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles. It's a subject we all know about, but I wanted to speak to a guest today that is working right in the heart of this space. And I'm very fortunate to have found Padma Sundaram from General Motors, and she is the Director of Software-Defined Vehicle Quality and Operations at General Motors, and she plays a key role in the launch of a new software platform called Ultifi. So I've invited her on the podcast today to talk about open source and the future of connected vehicles and find out more about the work that she's doing that's driving the future of transportation from EVs to AVs to connected cars. And also, I want to explore how open source is actually powering the shift to an era of software-defined vehicles where cars become much more like our smartphones, almost like a connected device that will regularly update, customize, and evolve with its owners over time. And it's this shift that I want to explore. But before we start today's interview, I just wanted to give a quick mention to our sponsors, because this month the podcast is brought to you by Flipper, which is the #1 marketplace to buy and sell online businesses and startups. So, do you run your own online business? And have you ever considered selling your website, your store, your tech, or your app? Because with world-class combined matching technology, dedicated brokers and end-to-end services, all at the most efficient price, Flipper is making it simple to sell your online business. So to get a free valuation, visit my friends at flipper.com/techtalks, where each month thousands of online business owners exit with Flipper. Again, visit flipper.com/techtalks. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to the US so you can join me and Padma in conversation about all this and much more. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
First of all, thank you, Neil, for having me. My name is Padma Sundaram. I work for General Motors as the Director for Software-Defined Vehicle Operations and Product Assurance. And I have been the GM for over 16 years now. And I've been always, I'm very grateful to General Motors for the opportunities that they have given me, especially getting to work on every cutting edge technology that they were putting out. So that has been an incredible experience for me. And this new job or new assignment for me is incredibly exciting to roll out our Ultifi platform and bring in new customer experiences for our vehicles.
Well, so much I'm looking forward to talking with you about today, because the industry has changed so much in my lifetime. If I think back to when I was growing up, to how easy it was to put up the hood of a car and get your hands dirty, to what it is now, it resembles more of a computer. So if I was to take you back in time for a moment, can you remember where your passion for tech came from, the moment that put you on the path you're on right now, and how those worlds of technology and automotive kind of collided for you?
Sure. My career in embedded control systems started 24 years ago, so late 90s. That's when I graduated, and I got into Hughes Aircraft, which was then part of General Motors. So incredible journey starting from there to getting into Delphi and then now into General Motors. But I want to give a little bit of context as well as to how the automotive industry evolved during this period. So when I started, that is when the cars were converting their hydraulic and mechanical systems into electronic. So the first one you can think of is the electronic throttle control that went into the Corvette in 97. Incredible drive-by-wire from a mechanical manual pedal control system to a electronic control system. And then from there, I got to work on electrical and electronic column assist steering, which was the industry first. And within the steering space, I got to work on front steering, rear steering, quad steering, all types of steering, including steer-by-wire. And then I jumped into the brake space and got to work on electronic stability control and then brake-by-wire. And when I got to GM, I had the opportunity to work on the Chevy Volt, which was the propulsion system, which was an electrical propulsion system that was more extended range. So it also had an engine and an electric motor to drive the vehicle. So along the way, I got to realize that the technology that I was working with was actually improving the customers' lives through comfort, through safety, and I also realized that I was enjoying what I was doing. I really enjoyed what I was doing because it seemed like I was making a difference and working towards something bigger than myself. And at General Motors, once I joined, after the Chevy Volt experience, incredible opportunities to work on active safety, passive safety, chassis, vehicle dynamics. And the last 6 years has been the most, I would say, pivotal. I got to work with the autonomous vehicle with Cruise Automation in San Francisco. So GM and Cruise developed these autonomous self-driverless self-driving vehicles, right? Mm-hmm. And these vehicles, we architected from ground up. So we take the Chevy Bolt and we basically made it a fail operational vehicle to meet the safety and the rigor requirements for the autonomous driving. And we work with Cruise Automation. It's a startup, so it's a different culture, but incredible learning from on both sides. We took away so much from that learning, and we are now bringing it to the software-defined space. But major milestone earlier this year, where we launched the driverless vehicle in San Francisco. So that was a huge milestone for GM and Cruise. And then my assignment came in, bringing all that experience to the software-defined space, and to now to help GM bring in this technology to customers, applying all the learnings that we have over the years, as well as the latest from the autonomous program.
And just listening to your story there, it shows you just how much the industry has evolved in your career. And of course, right now, it feels like the entire transportation industry is going through almost a massive digital transformation right now, especially with the changing value proposition of cars and how it's moving software to almost the center of a legacy business. So can you expand on why maybe it's time to get in on an early software trend that will soon redefine driver expectations, because we're already beginning to see the beginning of that. And as we prepare to enter a new year, that's only going to expand, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think so. Over the years, what you have seen is there is a lot of software already in vehicles. So nobody should be surprised about that. The software-defined vehicles are not necessarily bringing software for the first time. Software has been in these vehicles for the last 2 decades, and it has been increasing. So if you take today, any vehicle, an advanced vehicle with navigation system and infotainment system, you should see more than 150 million lines of code in those vehicles. That is enormous amount of code that is controlling these vehicles in different domains, whether it is steering, braking, propulsion, navigation. But what has happened is over the time, these software control modules are very specific, doing a specific functionality. So you have electronic control units doing specific functionality. And now the complexity of managing all of these electronic control units is increasing, where you cannot make an update without taking the car to the dealer. Or sometimes it may be impossible to make an update because the ECU may not have the programmability, because that was not how it was intended for. So now everybody's stepping back and saying, all right, we have all this content. What do we do? So let's try to see if we can bring a platform that can centralize some of this and decentralize what makes sense. And that's what software-defined vehicle is. It's trying to bring in a platform where multiple software criticalities can coexist. And then you can decentralize where it matters and make this a regularly updatable vehicle. So The car can be refreshed frequently. And that's the key thing here. Just like your smartphone, the car continues to become more and more smarter, if I can say that. You have a smart car, but it can be more and more smarter because you're continuously updating and upgrading it. And that's the key feature, which was not possible in the past. And now we can do this with this platform and the connectivity and the cloud technologies that come with it.
And before you came on the podcast today, I was doing a little bit of research on you, and I quickly learned that you believe that the auto industry could also be the next frontier for tech talent who are looking to build their careers. And it is a big topic right now. So can I ask you to expand on that?
Absolutely. I think what we have is we're all going after the same technical talent, believe it or not, whether it's an automotive company or anybody that is going through the digital transformation. The technology companies and medical industry, any industry that you're looking that is trying to transform digitally is looking for similar talent. Software, artificial intelligence, machine learning, this kind of talent is what we are going after. So there's going to be really a lot of demand for that kind of skill set. And so it's a very exciting period to be part of that, part of automotive industry right now for anybody who is looking for applying their software skills, artificial intelligence skills, and things like that. It's an exciting period to be part of the automotive industry right now.
And you were talking a few moments ago about how cars will become much more like smartphones. And one of the other things I was reading was how open source is actually powering the shift to an era of software-defined vehicles. So try and imagine, I don't know, a connected device that will regularly update, customize, and evolve with its owners over time. Again, a fantastic vision, but can you expand on that?
Yes. So GM's software-defined vehicles is going to be enabled through our end-to-end software platform called Ultifi. And Ultifi is based on a Linux system. And Linux allows you to provide, it's an open source architecture, which means we can attract third-party software developers to innovate. We can work with them collaboratively to innovate and bring new functionality to the vehicles. And this allows us to continuously update the vehicle with the functionality that actually customers want and they're asking for. And we can do this in a rapid pace, much faster.
And I think the key words in what you were saying there was it can continuously update and evolve with the demands of your customers. So I'm curious, I know it's very early days, but how do you think that platform will evolve in 2023 and beyond?
So the platform is already capable of doing a lot of things. It depends upon what we use when we get started, right? And the platform is having 5G connectivity capability. It can connect to the cloud. The vehicles of software-defined that have software-defined platform are always connected to the cloud. Continuously, they're connected to the cloud. So through over-the-air connectivity, we can monitor these vehicles. We can continuously upgrade functionality. We can update. Customers can even download whatever functionality they want. And this way, the cars are able to keep up with it. It actually makes the customers' digital lives much more complementary to with their smartphones and other devices that they have. The cars now become an extension of that and even complement that.
And I suspect we are blowing a lot of people's minds right now, hearing about this kind of thing for the first time, or had a rough idea, but wasn't sure just how far it has progressed. So just to kind of bring to life everything that we're talking about here, do you have any use cases of how your exciting work that's driving the future of transportation from this journey that we're on, from EVs to AVs to connected cars, etc.? Is there anything that you can share around that? I appreciate you might be restricted to what you can, but is there anything you can?
Definitely, I can share what's already in the public domain. So if you look at General Motors vehicles, we already have the Super Cruise technology, which is a driver assist. It's a lane. It'll stay in the lane. The vehicle stays in the lane and allows the driver to possibly take off his hands off the wheel, but it keeps the driver engaged through the driver monitoring technology. That technology is also connected to the cloud. And we make regular updates, map updates, different updates to that system. And when you look at our autonomous vehicles, There, we are able to make regular updates of anything that we see. For example, if there is a crash on the road and vehicles are stalled, immediately the car is able to send that information to the back office, and the back office can reroute the vehicles. That's one thing. And it can also inform other vehicles, hey, avoid that segment because there's a crash there. This kind of real-time connectivity to the vehicle, to the cloud, that can actually inform the vehicles to act better, to do the right things without, if you didn't have that, the cars would take a longer time to navigate, or it would actually be disruptive. So we are trying to make sure through the digital feedback loop, we can self-heal and make the vehicles much more enjoyable, much more real-time, and the driver's experience is also well enhanced.
And as someone that's working right in the heart of this space, you've probably seen a lot of things already. So I'm curious, what is it that excites you about the role of technology, how it's reshaping the future of transportation, and equally the role that GM and yourself will play in that future too? Is there anything that that particularly stands out to you?
Absolutely. I think with in general, if you look at the trends that we have in the automotive industry, the biggest trends are electrification, and GM is involved in it. And there's a lot of technology in electrification alone. And then when you combine that with autonomous driving and assisted driving, with super cruise and fully autonomous driving vehicles, and then you have connectivity these vehicles can connect better to infrastructure, connect better to the back office, connect better to the cloud. All of this will increase the overall user experience. And I think it's serving towards GM's mission of 0, 0, 0, zero crashes, because we are overall enhancing the vehicle safety, zero emissions, electrification does that, and zero congestion. We are able to better route these vehicles through different, you can use the vehicles also as a mobility service. There are different types how you can use these vehicles as a fleet. So there's also a potential to reduce congestion. So our 0, 0, 0 mission actually is zero congestion, zero crashes, and zero congestion and zero emissions. And we are trying. The exciting thing is today's technology allows us to get there faster.
It's incredibly exciting what you're doing here. And I think there's extra optimism, especially on my part, because we are on the verge of entering a new year, and there is something magical that happens then. So I'd love to get you back on later next year, see how that journey's going, how things are evolving. But to begin with, we started about talking about your origin story and how you got where you are today. And you've invested a lot of time sharing that with us today and your insights at General Motors. But now I'm going to ask you to leave one other thing, and that is, can you share a book that has maybe inspired you or that you can recommend, or your favorite song that you can add to our Spotify playlist, especially because we're just entering the world of Spotify Wrapped this week. So what are you going to leave us with and why?
I'll share my book. Yeah. I think this may be a little bit different. It's a nonfiction book. So the book is titled The Power of Now. And it's authored by a German author, Eckhart Tolle, and incredible insights in that book. It's very simple. Now, one thing about this book is either it resonates with you or not. So you'll continue to read it if it resonates with you. And it did. I think I would say more than a decade ago, I came across this book, and it tells you about how to stay in the moment and get to know yourself. So this is very, very important in my belief of what a leader should be. Before we are able to lead others, we should be able to lead ourselves, and which means you should know yourself better. And so the book touches on all of those aspects as to stay in the moment and be who you are, be true to who you are. And when you know yourself through self-reflection, mindfulness, and the practice of self-awareness, you are able to relate to other people better, and you're able to build stronger relationships. And that leads to trust, that leads to, the team mindset, and that enables you to also make better decisions. And overall, for me, specifically, the takeaway there was it also allowed me to keep my ego in check. from time to time, you have to keep that in check. And so for me, that book has been phenomenal. I have read it several times. I think I've memorized a few paragraphs. I go back to it again and again. So, but I'll definitely say that it has to resonate with you. It may not be for everyone.
Sounds like a great read to me. So I'll be adding that to the Amazon wish list. I will be checking that out myself too. And before I let you go, I appreciate that General Motors is a pretty big website. So anyone that interested in keeping up to speed with some of this tech news and the work that you're doing, or even contacting your team if they want to find out more, what's the best starting point for everything?
I think they can reach me at in LinkedIn. I have my LinkedIn profile is open. So feel free to contact me and reach me, and that'll be the best way.
Awesome. Well, so much I've loved chatting with you today from the future of transportation and how open source is powering the shift to an era of software-defined vehicles where cars will become much more like our smartphones, and also what the auto industry, or how the auto industry might be the next frontier of tech talent. So many exciting things going on there. So I'd love to stay in touch with you and continue this conversation next year. But more than anything, just thank you for coming on, sharing your story, your insights, and leaving us with a great book and a powerful message too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neil. Appreciate it. Really enjoyed talking to you.
Wow, so much gold in this episode today. And I've certainly learned a lot from just spending a few minutes with Padma today, and especially around the auto industry and how that could be the next frontier for tech talent and people that are looking to build their careers in the tech industry. And also interesting to learn more about GM's own software platform, Ultifi, and how that's actually going to leverage a Linux-based operating system that will allow third-party developers all around the world to create apps for General Motors and expand on the capabilities of the customer's connected car long after it's been sold, and almost creating opportunities that we've not seen before. And that kind of thing is what really excites me, because the transportation industry is, yes, going through a massive digital transformation right now. Because, yes, the transportation industry is going through a massive digital transformation now. And the changing value proposition of cars is moving software to the centre of a legacy business. Again, exciting times. So I'd love to hear more about your thoughts on anything that we discussed today, why it's so important to get in early on a software trend that will soon redefine driver expectations. And you know that quote that I always use, the last best experience that you have anywhere becomes your standard expectation everywhere. And listening to Padma today, I kept thinking of this, because once you redefine drivers' expectations, nobody's going to want to go back to that legacy experience. They want that new experience. But I'm rambling. So let me know what your thoughts are and any insights you might have, a different opinion. I'd love to hear all sides of this story. And you can do that by emailing me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just at Neil C. Hughes. Either hold down the audio button, send me an audio message that we can play on the show, or send me a message. And my email's techblogwriter@outlook.com, and my website is techblogwriter.co.uk. We've got 2,200 interviews for you to choose from. So today was all about the future of transportation and the journey from EVs to AVs to connected cars. Tomorrow we've got a completely different topic to explore together. So a big thank you for listening as always. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow. But until next time, don't be a stranger.